Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna just dive right in, and if you have any questions, just feel free to either put them in the chat or just literally start talking because I can't see everybody who's on the call. So, good morning, everyone, or I guess good morning where I am. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. My name is Ana Aranda. You all have received emails from me if you're here, but I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for the NASA SCoPE team. And on the line with me is Jessica Swan. Jess, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. So I'm your community manager, deputy PI for the NASA SCoPE project, and excited to see you all here and sharing the opportunities that we have available.
Yeah, today's exciting. It's our first Savory session of 2025. So, yes, a round of applause. So really quick, before we get started, I'm going to go over some of the NASA core values, um, just that we have at all our meetings. So like safety is our number one, most important thing. We also strive for excellence, integrity, teamwork, and broadening participation, basically sharing science with everyone. So that's going to be all of our stuff related to our mission is sharing the science that you do with the whole broader audience. So really quick, what is NASA SCoPE? So for those of you who are not familiar with what SCoPE is, we are a community of practice. We have a really long name. So our full name is NASA SMD, Community of Practice for Education. So all of those acronyms spell SCoPE. If you didn't know, you can just call us NASA SCoPE. But basically, we pair scientists like yourselves with these NASA science activation teams to do some type of educational outreach that can be like developing a full-on proposal. That I see some folks on the line who are previous awardees of these of seed grants, and I'll talk a little bit more of that in just a little bit. But we do this by co-creating projects with these science activation teams who are experts in whatever audience they focus on sharing their science with. So there's a whole list of teams. There's like 40 something different teams as of right now. I'll drop the link in the chat for those who are interested in just learning more about the different types of teams that are out there. But as I mentioned, we are a community of practice. So what that means is we serve the community that we serve are the NASA Science Activation Teams, SMEs, which subject matter experts, which are y'all on the call, and early career scientists. So yeah, that's the community that we serve. Our domain is the Earth and Space Science and Engineering education. And then our practice is to create inspiring educational materials and experiences that are effective, true to science, and broadens participation of learners of all ages. Um, yeah, so we consider ourselves a best practices and knowledge stewarding community of practice. So yeah, that is SCoPE in a nutshell. And if you have any questions, feel free to also put those in the chat. I know this is like a really quick overview. But basically, how are we building our community of practice? So these are like the four core areas that we have been focusing on and that we're going to continue to focus on in 2025. So we go to conferences. You'll see a full list here in just a few minutes. But these are ways that we can engage with early career folks by going to these conferences and talking to them about SCoPE's mission, yeah, sharing their science with a broader audience. And so, yeah, I see many folks here that actually we've met at conferences. So that's basically how we spread the word of SCoPE. We also hold communications workshops and virtual networking sessions for folks who are located all across the US. Um, Basically just building on their science communications like toolkit, best practices, all that good stuff. And then we also provide seed grants and now travel funding to various conferences. So let's really quickly, we have to start off, before we get into the meat of what we're talking about, we have to start off every savory session with a savory snack. So today's savory snack is very delicious. It comes from the Netherlands, the stroopwafel. So they are sold by street vendors in the Netherlands. And the traditional recipe takes two round crunchy waffles or wafers and basically sandwiches them around a sticky caramel inside. And the traditional way, like you can see it here, is to rest the strudel waffle on top of a warm beverage, so that way the inside gets soft and delicious. So the question today is, what is stroopwafel translated to in Dutch? What does it mean? Does it mean caramel waffle, sweet waffle, crunchy waffle, or syrup waffle? So I'll give you guys like 20 seconds to put it in the chat. Um, and if you haven't had these, they're so delicious. I know some airlines have started selling them too. Um, yeah, they're so good. Let's see. Let me see if the chat will pop up for me. Okay, got a good mix of all the answers. All right, I'm gonna release the answer. It's actually the syrup waffle. So now you know, yeah, Cole was right. And anybody else who said syrup waffle. So now you know, next time you eat a stroop waffle, it is translated to syrup waffle. Okay. And I'm going to change my view so I can see everything. Okay. Like I said, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat for Jess and I to answer, or just raise your hand. One of the aspects of the this like new funding that we have is to provide conference travel. So if any of you are planning to go to AAS Summer, AISES, SACNAS, or AGU this year, we are providing travel funding. So I have some of the dates listed on the screen, so you can take like a quick screenshot, or I'm actually gonna share the slides later so you can have the dates. But basically these are grants that are provided for you to go to attend these conferences, but also there is a science communications aspect that's incorporated into all of our grant uh, all the grants that we provide. So um, essentially I'll take AGU for the first example. So you'll be able to attend the conference, but also we host a joint partnership with AGU for you to come early to do this science communications workshop. And basically that's just to help you build your science communications toolkit and like build some skills, collaborate with the other folks who are in your cohort. Um, and it's kind of nice because then you're there at the conference, but you actually know like 9 other folks, so you're not alone. Um, and these vary anywhere between $2,000 and $2,200 for all of your travel support. This can include airline fees, your hotel, um, yeah, anything related to travel. The applicants must be US citizens or permanent residents, so green card holders. We are also focusing really on PhD candidates, postdoctoral scholars, and early career folks. So like folks who graduated with their PhD or master's degree within the last 5 years. Um, and yeah, we hope that you also are eager in sharing your science, because that's like the whole part of this travel funding, is to build up your science communications network. So the next one that's going to be coming up, as you can see, is the AAS Summer. So the actual event is going to be in June, and that's going to be in Anchorage, Alaska. But the application is going to open at the end of March. Again, like y'all are in the um, email listserv, so you will receive these emails, but just so you know, that's the next one that's coming up. Okay, and so with these with these travel grants, these are the three questions that we ask. So one is to describe what you hope to gain from participating in these different programs. So whether it's travel to AAS Summer, AGU, SACNAS, what do you hope to gain by participating? What do you think is the value of educational outreach? And we want you to describe a little bit about the work or research that you're doing, and why you think it's important for the public to understand your science. If you are a PhD candidate, you will need a letter of support from your PhD advisor. Basically, this is so that way they know, like, hey, you're going to be missing some time to go to the conference, to attend the workshop. So again, all of this is on the website, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that these are the three questions that are part of the application process. And I see some stuff in the chat. I don't know if it's from us. Okay, cool. Jess is on it. Cool, cool. All right, so that was everything. Let me actually just pause. Does anybody have any questions on travel related grants before I switch over to our seed grants? Okay, cool. Okay, switching gears. So we also provide seed grant funding. So seed grants are essentially your way to get a little bit deeper with a SciAc team, and collaborate on a project. Typically, these projects are anywhere between like 6 months to a year. This year is a little bit different because everything has to be completed by December 15th. That's just because we're in, the last year of our funding cycle. So we want to make sure you have enough time also to complete your project and submit a final report. So the notice of intent, is closing today. So this is really like if you're like, okay, hey, I have an idea of an outreach project that I'd like to do, but I need help partnering with the SciAc team. Like I'm not aware of the SciAc teams who might be interested in working with me. That's really what the notice of intent is meant to be. So you can fill that out on our website. Part of this seed grant requirement is that you must be partnered with a NASA science activation team. Like I said in the beginning, there's like 40 some odd teams. And yeah, so I know it can be like hard to navigate, especially if you're like not familiar with all the different groups. So the notice of intent is really a way that Jess and I can help basically introduce you. Y'all can have your discussions about if you want to propose a full-on budget and project. But yes, please fill that out if you're interested. The proposals for this round are going to be due February 28th. So essentially, you'll have a month between now and when the proposals are due to connect with the SciAc team, get together, work out all the details of the project that you want to do, and then, yeah, submit a budget. Again, if you are a PhD candidate, excuse me, you also need to have a letter from your advisor recognizing just the time commitment that it's going to take for whatever project you're going to propose. And these projects are anywhere between $5,000 and $20,000. I realize I didn't put that on there. But yeah, so these seed grants are, like I said, anywhere between 6 months to, I guess it's 8 months now. But yeah, anywhere between $5,000 and $20,000 for you to complete an outreach project. Um, Same requirements as before. You have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, which is the green card holder. PhD candidates are eligible, postdocs, early career folks. What else? I think that's it for seed grants right now. Does anybody have any seed grant specific questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask,
Mhm.
if you have a sort of ongoing project that you've been working on a long time, but you're just looking for extra funding for, uh, and that project would probably continue past the end of the year because it's just been ongoing for so long. Does that mean it can't receive a seed grant, or does it just mean that you would have to frame the seed grant as just funding this year?
You want me to field that, Anna?
Sure.
So we can probably talk more in depth offline, but generally speaking, if your project is, if you are already 100% funded under NASA, that is this project 100% funded under NASA?
No, we have no money.
Oh, okay.
It's going great over here.
Okay, then it's fine. You can in fact apply for a seed grant, but the real trick is making sure that the project aligns with something that a NASA science activation team is interested in and collaborating with you on.
Got it. Thank you.
Cool. And traditionally, the seed grants have been awarded to folks like I think of like a couple folks in mind that like basically their project was like continuing, so they were eligible to like reapply after their project was done. This year's kind of like a weird year where we're kind of like, we're reproposing and stuff. So as of right now, your question, Cole, about like funding for next year and stuff is TBD. But traditionally, yes, the folks are eligible to reapply. You're still gonna have to go through like the same application process where you like fill out um like you have to make like a timeline of your proposal, make sure you have a budget, like all the same requirements basically as if you were a first time applicant. You just have to like say, the outcome of your project that was awarded the first time. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. Um, so we also have this kind of like SciComm cohort thing. We're kind of workshopping the name. But basically this was like a product of Big Helio year that just ended with the closest approach to Parker Solar Probe. But basically, since we're like not in Big Helio year anymore, technically, we are trying to switch gears and just make this more well known. I feel like it was kind of like Harvard in our little scope thing, but basically we had this cohort of folks who did various presentations um, among different audiences. So adult learners, general audiences, which was like high school level, middle school students, and kindergarten through sixth grade students. And they received up to $5,000 for their time doing these four different presentations and working with four different SciAc teams as a part of that. So basically at the end, the this cohort was able to have like a toolkit built of different uh, one presentations, but also activities that they could do with these different audiences, and it was specific to their research. So essentially, when they were done, they could save that and go do that again for other folks who are asking for their time. Um, yeah, basically the whole goal is to one, connect you to SciAc teams who are serving in these different audience areas, and also providing you with this toolkit that you can take and kind of change out as your research changes. Um, yeah, so this is something we're going to be offering, I think, more widely soon. Jess and I have to like work out the details, but if you're interested, feel free to shoot me an email and just say, hey, I'm interested. And it's much more of a lower commitment than the seed grants, because it is only these specific different audiences, and we will help coordinate the time for those. But yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to put your email in the chat for me. Okay. Okay, I think that's it for funding. Any last minute funding questions before I switch over? Cool. Okay, so aside from funding, we also provide networking opportunities. So, savory sessions like this, last Friday of every month, we'll be here, and we'll have a new speaker at each session. And it's just like a quick, 20 minutes of just learning a new skill or talking to one of the different SIAC teams. We also are going to be hosting virtual networking sessions. I think our first one is scheduled for May. So I need to work on the details, but since y'all are in the network already and signed up for our listserv, you'll be getting more information on that. Oh, and we ask you to please complete your profile. I know some of the folks on here might already be in our network, but if you've changed institutions or you graduated or your interest area of research has changed, please complete your profile on our website so that way we can better tailor our communications to you. If there's a certain group that you're interested in doing outreach with, that'll also help us just to connect you with the right SIAC team. Jess, if you want to drop the link to the database profile in the chat, thank you. Okay, I guess that's it. Sorry, it was kind of a lot. I tried to rush to keep time, but if y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask or put them in the chat. Thank you. Cool. Well, I guess that's, oh, do we need to be based in Arizona? No, you do not. These are all over the US. And all the events have been virtual as of now. So yeah, it kind of works out to, you don't have to be in the area that you're talking to the folks with.
Yeah, and I guess a quick question, but Jessica addressed this, and
Mhm.
I was writing to you from the Andes. Just I'll put my video. Just hi, nice to meet you. But yeah, so I submitted something yesterday, and no one got a confirmation, including the SIAC PI or me. So I just wanted to follow up, make sure you got it. And how are we supposed to typically see that? I might do another notice of intent for another project. Should I expect something from that? And yeah, how that works.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah,
I
Jess.
appreciate you saying that because now I'll go and double check, make sure that those automatic emails are working properly because it sounds like they're not. So.
Yeah, because there's also last night it said, oh, countdown 5 hours, and I thought I had until today. So I rushed the application also, and then when I went in today, it says, oh, you still have 13 hours. Is that for a notice of intent, or is it still for that grant? Because there's two things
Yes
going
and
on
yes.
yet.
Yes and
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, so yeah, we had a jumbo for everybody else on the line. We had a jumbo seed grant opportunity available that closes tonight at midnight, and that was up to $195,000. And yeah, so that closes at midnight. But then also, if you're interested in our normal seed grant opportunities, like the ones I was mentioning before, let me just scroll through. Yeah, so these are anywhere between $5,000 and $20,000, and so yes, the notice of intent for this round of funding is due tonight as well. So
Okay.
yes,
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks
yeah,
for
of
the
course.
follow-up because yeah, I didn't get the email. I checked spam, and so just wanting to know, follow up on that. Cool. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, we tried to fix the countdown clock this morning, so I think it should be working now.
It caused a big panic in my team yesterday, but we got it out. But yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. And yeah, like I mentioned, with these seed grant opportunities, if you do not already have a connection to a SIAC team, that's okay. But please submit a notice of intent by tonight at midnight. So that way I can help you, Jess and I can help you build that relationship and at least get you an introduction to a SIAC team, because you will need them to propose funding for seed grant funding. So if you're interested, please fill that out by midnight tonight. Doesn't mean you have to have the whole proposal done right now. Just that's just our way of getting you connected to a SIAC team.
So the candidates or scientists or engineers who have received their degrees in the last 5 years, is that the 5 years the cap?
It's no, you can apply at any time of your career. It's just that we were focusing a lot on like early career folks, but I mean, we funded folks who are like in their late career, mid-career. Yeah, Jess, do you have anything?
Yeah, that's just how we define what we consider an early career is someone who has received their degree within the last 5 years.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Cool. Well, thank you all so much for joining. It was great to meet you all. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Let me really quick put my email in the chat for everyone. I believe you all got emails from me, but just in case, I'll write it in the chat. And please save the date for our next Savory session, which will be Friday, February 28th. And yeah, so you all will get to save the date from me. If you have any questions between now and then, please let me know. Yeah, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.